right, well, welcome to the 2018 Fantasy Football Award Show, starring myself and Mike McClory here.
It's sad to see the season over, but the one good thing about the season ending is we get to do the award show. Nine awards coming
your way today. We're going to start with my favorite award, Biggest Draft Steal.
Now, some of you might be thinking, Kareem Hunt, fifth round.
Todd
great for the
Gurley,
first half of the season.
Gurley, second round, steal.
Great picks.
Not
going to lie. Value
Russell
picks.
Wilson, 7th round, steal.
But Nick,
there's someone better that we happened to catch at the corner of our eye at the last minute. It's going to be my man, DeAndre Hopkins.
On the championship team.
Trevor
Fleming's team.
Last year, he won in the first round. So I took him myself, and he had a terrible year, down year. People slept on him. He won in the 4th round. Everyone slept on him. That team has no quarterback.
He also had Deshaun Watson throwing to him for a little bit mid-season, which also helped.
That obviously helps.
Honestly, Watson left, and Hopkins kept his stats going. Came up big on a Christmas Day matchup, scored a clutch touchdown against Pittsburgh that kind of was the dagger in Trevor Fleming's championship victory.
Best receiver in the league this season.
The number one receiver was drafted in the 4th round. Now, I would say Antonio Brown's a better receiver too. However, stats don't lie. Player ranking, DeAndre Hopkins is number 1.
Number 1.
Now we just did biggest steal. Now the opposite side of the spectrum, biggest bust.
Biggest draft bust. Hate to say it, man, but it's my boy, Jay Ajayi.
Not your boy anymore. After he got traded, probably because he was a bust.
And Adam Gase knew it. Mike, what do you think about this trade?
Honestly, I thought it was a horrible trade for the Dolphins at first, but looking back on it, it actually turned out fine. I mean, Kenyon Drake's been blowing up. Jay Ajayi, whatever, he doesn't do really much on the Eagles right now anyway.
He's just an average running back,
Now,
I don't think we're even worth the 4th round pick.
Jay Ajayi, let's remind you, was taken 6th overall.
And then shipped.
By Jared, traded then to Travis.
Shipped to Travis's team. So Jared knew the bus was there. Smart. Shipped him over for AJ Green, a couple other pieces.
Now, when you take a running back, 6th overall, I know Jared traded him, but just a running back in general, picked 6th overall in the draft, you're not expecting to have to wait till week 9 for this guy to score a touchdown.
Yeah, he's locker room cancer. Heard he really talked back to the coaches, didn't study his playbook, didn't really care about anything in general. He just went out there and winged it. He did a pretty good job of winging it, but
you don't want off-the-field issues to bring down your fans.
You don't want off-the-field issues. All right, moving on here.
Best trade now we got.
Best trade. Ooh, this one's fun. So there's been a lot of trades this season. We just talked about the Jay Ajayi trade.
Very actively. A lot of trades going on. And Jay Ajayi was involved in a trade. That's
Golden Tate trade earlier this season for Hogan. That was a good trade.
One trade that I will mention that did not win this award, but it's worth mentioning. Chris, actually, as bad of a season he had, traded Deshaun Watson, who eventually got on IR, and Terrell Pryor for Adam Thielen and Alshon Jeffrey, who became his best 2 receivers second half of the season. Watson was on the IR.
Most of the trades are pretty lopsided. At first, they look fair, and they all would just end up being lopsided.
Surprised the commissioner didn't step in and stop him. Where are you?
We don't do that anymore.
We believe in capitalism.
Trade of the year is going to be Alvin Kamara, straight up for Sammy Watkins.
I traded Sammy Watkins for Alvin Kamara.
Trade of the year.
Thank you, Jared. Alvin Kamara really ended up propelling my team to the championship game with the combo of his partner, Mark Ingram. But Alvin Kamara, Rookie of the Year probably, and just an outstanding season. Really just gave up some guy who was sitting on my bench doing nothing.
So we're gonna reenact how the trade went down. Here we go. Hey, he's Mike in this scene, and I'm gonna be Jared in this scene. All right, here's how it went down.
Hey Jared, I got this wide receiver 3 sitting on my bench.
Oh yeah, who is it?
Sammy Watkins.
Ooh, he played in Buffalo the last few seasons. I really like Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, I figured you'd be interested.
Yeah, what
if I threw him for your running back 1? You down?
What's one? I have a couple running back ones. Jordan Howard.
Alvin Kamara?
Alvin Kamara. Oh, Alvin Kamara?
Yeah.
Sammy Watkins for Alvin Kamara?
Yeah.
I'm down for that,
I'm proposing to you right now. All right,
let's do that. He played Buffalo the last season. I'm down for that.
I'm down. Well,
I really need a wide receiver 3.
I'm pumped to see who wins this trade.
All right, so moving on to best waiver wire pickup of the season. There's always a great amount of waiver wire additions that our teams make. We have some great managers in this league, but a couple to name in the beginning here. Kenyon Drake, Alex Collins, Evan Ingram, Adam Thielen. Jaguars defense was a really good pickup by Ty. I'll give you Ty on that one.
Great D.
But at the end of the day, in our opinion, number 1 waiver wire pickup is going to be
Adam Thielen, wide receiver for the Minnesota Vikings. This player was acquired actually almost immediately after the draft, before week 1, by Kenny. Eventually traded to Chris, who really kind of benefited from the majority of his production. Second half of the season, it was huge for Adam Thielen. In all, this receiver is winning this award because he went undrafted, yet by the end of the season, this guy was ranked number 13 at his position. That's saying a lot.
This is a fun award. We're going to go ahead and switch it up here. Non-traditional award, Manager of the Year. Now, we had a lot of great managers in our league.
We just mentioned some big moves that managers made as far as trade.
Mike was a good manager this season, I thought. I thought Trevor did a good job managing his team. I honestly didn't think Kenny did that bad of a job. He made a couple moves toward at the end there he really needed to make. But at the end of the day, Manager of the Year is going to be Casey McClure out of Oakland.
Out of Oakland.
And for good reason, too. He drafted David Johnson in the first round of the draft.
A lot of guys would not be able to recover from that.
David Johnson. Second round, Christian McCaffrey. Consistent running back, better in PPR leagues. You don't think he could run a team through Christian McCaffrey. In case he did it. And one of the best pickups of the season that did not make the cut for best waiver wire addition because he really only blew up second half of the season was Dion Lewis.
Dion Lewis.
But he was definitely the second half waiver wire addition of the year, Dion Lewis.
You ask Casey about his fantasy team, he has a lot of faith in Dion Lewis. Overall, with what this team endured early in the season, to be able to come back and win his division and get the bye week, and if Todd Gurley didn't go off in that week 15 matchup, he may have even been sitting with a championship. Who knows?
Next up, we got best fantasy matchup of the season. Now, I know a lot of you were into close matchups that came down to the wire, Monday Night Football, defensive touchdowns, bullshit kicks. I understand. There was one matchup in particular that is by far the best out of all of them. And it is the second round of the playoffs, semifinals matchup between Mike McClure and myself, Nick Chioka. Ironically, we just didn't pick it because we're making these awards. We will explain why, starting with Mike.
You even take out the implications. This is the winner of this matchup was to go to the championship game.
Yeah,
even if you take that out, this would probably still get this award.
Definitely.
You had this matchup started with, first of all, it was a very high scoring affair. Started on Saturday night, Kareem Hunt goes off for 32 points.
32.
I'm thinking
Saturday Night Football. Saturday Night Football. I'm like, I'm clear. I'm going to the finals, baby.
I'm entering the 1 o'clock games down by 32. 1 o'clock games, I make a little bit of a comeback. My running backs, Ingram and Kamara, go off a bit. Ingram, at the very end, scores a 50-yard touchdown, which would turn out later to be huge.
Like a bullshit
garbage points. So then, 4 o'clock games, got my free agent acquisition, good win for the week, goes in, gets me a solid 12. Entering Sunday night, it's really coming down to, I got Crabtree left, he's got Jason Witten, Mike Evans, and Devontae Freeman left, but I got a sizable lead. Crabtree, 2 big touchdowns Sunday night. Looks like the matchup is locked up for me.
I got 2 of my best players left, my first and second round pick, but I'm still down by 39 points. It's a long shot. They both got to play well. Early in the game, Devontae Freeman gets an easy touchdown. That's at the 1 yard line, but wait, he fumbles at the 1 yard line.
Fumbles at the 1. The offensive lineman recovers the fumble in the end zone, gets credit for the touchdown.
I lose my touchdown. I lose my season. I'm thinking game over. I go back to doing whatever the hell I was doing. An hour later, I see Devontae Freeman's got a touchdown 100 yards, and Mike Evans got a touchdown. I'm down by 6. Out of nowhere. Next thing I know, I'm down by 2.
It's coming down to the last
Comes
drive.
down to the wire, and they don't throw it to Mike Evans on the last drive. They throw it to some guy named Adam Humphries and Cameron Brate instead of their best player on the last drive. I lose the season because Devontae Freeman fumbles from me on the 1 yard line. 125 to 123.
Ended up being huge.
Game, set, match. Mike wins it. It moves on to the finals.
Too bad I lost it to the next week, but that was a great fantasy memory for me.
Great memory, great matchup. Will always be remembered in the history books. All right, moving on now. Best moments. This is gonna be a fun one because this guy just got hammered the whole season with bad luck, weird moments.
It was rough.
Jared Mesh's best moment.
This could also be worst moment. Depends
all
how
right,
you
we're
want.
gonna go ahead and leave it with the highlights. Mike's gonna go ahead and put these highlights on.
Oh yeah, put the highlights on. So here we have Chiefs defense.
Last play of the game.
Jared's up by 6. The only guy Ty's got left, who's Jared's opponent, is the Chiefs defense.
Rather than take a 4-point lead that would have forced Kansas City to score a touchdown to win. Jamison Crowder, here come the laterals. Back to Cousins. He cannot catch it. It's on the ground. Picked up by Jordan Reed. Now Thompson. Kansas City has it. This might be meaningful to some. Houston scores a touchdown.
As you can see, the Chiefs defense forced a fumble, recovered a fumble, and scored a touchdown on the last play of the game, giving Ty the narrow victory, beating Jared by 1 point.
If you're Jared, you're pretty upset. If you're not Jared, you're laughing your ass off on the couch.
That is bad. That is one of the worst things I've ever seen in fantasy. Alrighty, last and certainly not least, we saved the best award for last, of course. What kind of talk show would we be if we didn't put the MVP last?
You gotta keep the audience on their heels. We're like Sports Center, you know. We got the best.
And surprisingly, if you would have told me this guy was MVP at the beginning of the season this year, I would have looked you in the face and I would have said no fucking way.
But that's what makes an MVP. Given their draft stock, where they were
Most
picked,
valuable player.
they just blow up. And
Here he is. Todd Gurley, ladies and gentlemen.
the thing about this guy was not only was he the top running back throughout the entire season, but his 2 biggest weeks were weeks 15 and 16.
That's insane.
And pretty much, if you had Todd Gurley on your team in weeks 15 and 16, no matter what fantasy league you're in, you probably won. And weeks 15 and 16 are the 2 playoff weeks that you need to win. So all you had to do was get there, and Todd Gurley probably took care of the rest.
Goff, he dumps to Gurley. The blitz was on, and Todd Gurley is roaming through the middle of the field. Wow. Can he go the distance? Todd Gurley, touchdown, Los Angeles.
Alrighty, so right before we go, we got one more award to give to someone who we think is very important to the league. And that's going to be the last place champion, Chris Blumetti. He's going to win an award. Biggest
award.
blow up.
Biggest
Chris
blow up
Blumetti.
of the season.
We're just going to recap what happened on the street corner here. He got on the news. He impacted about 500 to 600 people's lives. And he got on the Duffy's websites.
The punishment, he embraced it.
I
You
just
gotta
wanna
give him
say-
credit for that. He blew up. Used it as an opportunity to blow up.
Mr. Blow Up, we thank you for going through with it. And we appreciate your gratitude towards the league. And hopefully, I mean, you probably will be, but hopefully you won't be on the corner again next year. But
Hey, someone's gonna get punished next year. So I encourage you to blow up like Chris did this year if you end up in that position. So before we head out here, we're just gonna do a small little segment.
small, quick segment, 1 minute quick countdown segment on the way too early predictions for 2018.
Way too early.
Here we go, way too early. Last place on the street corner. Who you got?
For 2018, honestly, I'm thinking about it. I got Travis on the street corner.
on the street corner next
2018.
season.
2 years ago, he was in the championship game. He commits a lot of time to his team. He's a good manager. So, I just think that he's going downhill.
Some of the moves he makes, I understand.
Some of the moves he makes are very
Sure.
questionable.
Des Bryant. I
He'll
understand.
offer you trades. It's like, is this guy trying to throw his team away? Is this
Sure.
guy trying to tank? I just don't see things working out for him, and I think he could be on the street corner next year. How about you? Who do you got on the street corner next year?
Street corner next year, looking at these teams, I think I'm going to go with Robbie Bush in the street corner next year for one sole reason and one sole reason only. You can't figure out which defense to start. That's
Defenses
gonna
can be big.
That's going to come back and haunt him next season. If you start the Houston Texans defense, it's done, baby. Robbie on the street corner next year. But look out, sleeper pick. Trevor could fall off next season and be on the street corner as well. He could get
that
cocky,
would be big.
start taking a bunch of boomer busts in the draft, and Trevor could fall off next season. Watch out, he's due for regression.
I would enjoy seeing
He's
that.
due for regression. Who do you think is going to win the league next year? Is going to be the last and final one we're doing here. Who do you got for win the league next year?
This guy had a brutal season this year, filled with heartbreak. But he's too good of a manager. And he's going to come back hungry for a title. Jared Meshes.
Ooh, that's not a bad pick, actually. He's a Bills fan.
He blew up at the beginning of the season with the moves he was making. And then he kind of kept his team constant. I think next year he's going to come out. He's going to learn from his mistakes. He's going to switch
No
his
more
team
Brandon
up.
Cooks. No more Stephon Diggs.
He's going to
Fuck
make
all
moves
that.
throughout the season rather than just at the beginning of the season. You got to maintain that mentality throughout
I
the
agree.
season. I see him winning a title next year.
Yeah. Off the top of my head, winner next season. I don't know. I'm just for some reason I'm feeling he's hungry. He has not won the league yet. He had a really good year this year in a downfall. If he doesn't get the injury bug, I'm saying Casey McCord will win it next season. Actually, I'm saying
Manager, 2017
He
Manager
won
of the
Manager
Year.
of the Year. He's hungry to win a title. He comes out next season. He grabs someone, maybe like a Le'Veon Bell or a Gurley early in the draft. B takes on the Marbles. Hopefully he doesn't get another injury bug. Another team to look out for who's hungry is Kenny Tran. He's hungry. Look out for these
Kenny
hungry
Tran's
teams. These
also
teams that are
hungry.
just bitter and they learn from the mistakes. We'll see what happens next season. I'm going with Casey McClure, our final pick. Thanks for watching. Way too early rankings, and thanks for watching the Fantasy Awards. We appreciate it.
It's been a great season.
In the studios here at Montecito. We will see you next season on another edition of Fantasy Football Now. We're going to bust around.